Have you ever noticed that an excessive amount of thoughts may be affecting your brain in ways you never imagined? Perhaps you feel like your mind never stops, that it is always full of ideas, doubts, or worries, but could this be having a silent and dangerous impact, especially after the age of 60? This feeling of mental overload may seem normal, but it can hide something more serious that deserves your attention. If you are in your golden years or know someone who is, know that this time of life brings many challenges, and understanding how our minds work is essential to taking good care of ourselves. After all, aging is not just about taking care of our bodies, but also preserving the health of our minds, which is our greatest treasure. Today, I want to invite you to discover how excessive thinking can be influencing your memory, your mood, and even your physical health, often in silent and subtle ways. This is not something to be ignored, but rather an opportunity to better understand what your brain is trying to tell you. Before we begin, please leave a comment telling us where you are watching from. It's always exciting to know that this conversation reaches so many different corners of the world, bringing together people who want to live healthier and happier lives. And believe me, the first sign that something may be wrong may be closer than you think. Let's explore together how these excessive thoughts may be changing your life without you even realizing it. The first thing to pay attention to is your posture when walking. That's right, how you walk, how you position yourself when you move. Your posture reveals a lot about your health and vitality. As we age, small changes in the way we walk can appear before bigger problems arise. A posture that begins to slouch or a weaker gait can be signs that the body is responding to excessive thoughts or natural brain wear and tear. These signs are observed by health professionals as an important warning. They help identify early on if something needs attention to avoid difficulties in daily life, maintain independence, and enjoy life more safely. Imagine João, a 75-year-old man who likes to walk in the park. He notices that lately he has been walking more hunched over, almost as if he were carrying an invisible weight. João is concerned, but decides to do some simple stretching every day, in addition to walking a little slower. These actions help him maintain good posture and strength. On the other hand, Maria, who is 80, does not notice these changes. She continues to walk with her head down, hunched over, not paying attention, and ends up getting tired more quickly. Over time, she realizes that climbing stairs has become difficult and that maintaining her balance has become a concern. Ignoring these signs may seem like a small thing, but over time, poor posture can lead to difficulty walking, loss of independence, or even an increased risk of falls. To avoid this, small actions such as daily stretching or walking with attention to posture can make all the difference. Walking carefully and mindfully is a simple way to take care of your body and brain. And if your posture is already showing signs, know that the next step may reveal even more about what your body is trying to tell you. Firmness when holding objects is an important sign that many people ignore. When older adults begin to notice that their hands no longer have the strength or precision they once had, this may indicate a decline in physical vitality. This loss of firmness is not just a matter of strength, it reflects the health of the muscles, nerves, and even the brain. Experts say that this sign is one of the first to appear before greater difficulties in daily life. If you try to open a glass jar, put on a lid, or hold a cup, and feel that your hands slip or don't respond as easily as they used to, it's a warning sign that something needs to be monitored closely. Ignoring this change can lead to greater difficulties, such as problems with motor coordination, an increased risk of falls, or loss of independence. Small actions can help maintain this strength, such as squeezing a rubber ball, holding light objects firmly, or practicing pinching movements, always with care and regularity. Over time, these simple exercises can make all the difference in the strength and precision of your hands. And even if your hands are steady today, is your coordination as strong as it could be? This is a question worth thinking about. But before we continue, I want to invite you to subscribe to our channel. Here, each piece of content is designed to help you live with more safety, independence, and well-being in your golden years. Because taking care of your hands is taking care of yourself. And now, let's discover the next sign that may go unnoticed, but also reveals a lot about your health and vitality. Paying attention to the small details of everyday life is essential in your golden years, as silent signs often indicate important changes in your health. One of them is how we react emotionally to everyday situations, especially when we are overwhelmed with thoughts. We will call this impulsive or exaggerated reactions to minor difficulties. This attitude may seem normal, but in fact, it reveals an important warning sign. The brain is receiving more negative stimuli and struggling to cope with them. When a person reacts with irritation, frustration, or anxiety to something simple, such as a quick argument or a change in routine, it shows that their emotional and cognitive systems may be worn out. Let's meet two characters, Mrs. Clara, 75, who always tries to stay calm, even when she feels overwhelmed by racing thoughts, and Mr. Roberto, 80, who often responds with irritation to any small unexpected event, such as a change in his care routine. Mrs. Clara, realizing that her reactions are more intense, decides to talk to her family and look for activities that promote emotional balance, such as meditation or short breaks during the day. Mr. Roberto, on the other hand, ignores these signs, and his constant irritation ends up increasing his sense of frustration and making his relationships more difficult. If we don't pay attention to these reactions, they can turn into a cycle of continuous stress, affecting our mental and emotional health. This can lead to greater emotional vulnerability, difficulties in living with others, and even a decline in quality of life. To avoid this, it is important to practice simple techniques, such as breathing deeply when feeling upset or taking time to reflect before reacting. Small daily actions can help maintain emotional control and strengthen our autonomy. And sometimes, what seems like a normal reaction can hide a bigger change that deserves our attention. After all, taking care of how we feel and how we react is essential for a more peaceful and healthy life. Quieting the mind is one of the most challenging tasks in the golden years. When the mind is filled with thoughts, worries, and unresolved emotions, it begins to consume our energy in a silent and invisible way. This internal overload is like a battery that slowly drains without warning until we feel fatigue, difficulty concentrating, and a constant sense of alertness. It's not just a matter of tiredness, it's a deep wear and tear that affects the body and soul. Many people believe that these signs are normal with age, but in fact, they represent a body that is asking for attention and care. Imagine a machine that, when overloaded, begins to fail silently. This is what our mind is like when we don't allow space for silence and emotional rest. The risk of ignoring this silent signal is great. The immune system weakens, mood becomes more unstable, memory becomes more fragile, and aging accelerates. These signs may seem small, but when they accumulate, they can reduce our quality of life. Fortunately, there are simple ways to take care of this emotional burden. Setting aside time to breathe deeply, avoiding screens before bed, practicing light meditation, or taking a walk in the morning sun can help relieve this mental pressure. Small daily actions can rebalance the mind and strengthen the body for the challenges of aging. And when the mind finds peace, it also speaks of health and hope. What if the next tip is related to what you keep inside, to the emotions that often remain hidden? Maybe it's time to listen to what your inner self has to say. If you wish, we have a free ebook with practical tips to calm your mind, improve your sleep, and regain your energy. The link is in the description. Take care of yourself with kindness and lightness. Your appetite in your golden years may be changing. You may find that you no longer feel like eating or that your meals don't taste as good as they used to. These changes may seem small, but they are important signs from your body that something needs attention. When hunger disappears for no apparent reason, it's your body crying for help. It could be a matter of a slow metabolism, decreased muscle strength, or even emotions that affect your desire to eat. Imagine two people, one who maintains a balanced diet with varied, colorful, and tasty meals. This person feels more energetic, is in a better mood, and is able to perform their tasks with more enthusiasm. Now think about the person who starts to lose interest in food, skips meals, or eats little out of boredom or sadness. This person feels weaker, has less stamina, is more irritable, and has difficulty concentrating. The difference is clear. The way you eat reflects the health of your body and mind. If you ignore these signs, the risk is high. Rapid weight loss, muscle weakness, low immunity, increased risk of falls, memory problems, and even worsening depressive symptoms. When the body does not receive the nutrients it needs, it begins to slow down its functions, leaving you more vulnerable. That's why small actions make all the difference. Keeping regular meal times, preparing colorful and nutrient-rich dishes, and including fruits, root vegetables, and whole grains in your diet helps stimulate your appetite. Drinking plenty of water is also essential. Eating well is an act of love and self-care. And even if your appetite returns, the question remains, how have you been dealing with your hidden emotions? After all, there is something more invisible than hunger, and it may be influencing your health in ways you can't even imagine. The absence of real connections. When routine becomes too quiet, and the presence of someone seems like a distant memory, something invisible begins to form. Silent loneliness is an often overlooked sign, but its impact can be profound. The body also feels when affection is lacking, when days become excessively quiet and company becomes a vague memory. The absence of human contact, shared laughter, or sincere conversation affects not only the soul but also physical health. Loneliness increases the risk of depression, decreases daily motivation, impairs memory, and weakens the immune system. When we feel disconnected, the body tends to shut down, and the sense of purpose can slowly be lost. Imagine two people, one who maintains regular contact with friends, participates in groups, or sets aside time for family, and another who isolates themselves, spends days without talking to anyone, eats alone, and avoids social gatherings. The first feels more energized, in a better mood, with their memory intact and a sense of belonging. The second, on the other hand, begins to feel tired, unmotivated, with memory lapses and a feeling of emptiness that intensifies. This situation happens to many people, but it can be reversed. Small actions make all the difference. A quick message to a friend, a weekly phone call, participating in online or in-person activities that bring a sense of belonging. Sometimes, a simple, "How are you?" can brighten someone's day, including your own. And when the silence outside meets the loneliness inside you, even your body can begin to lose its natural rhythm. But the next step shows that by taking care of your emotional connection, you also strengthen your physical vitality, your well-being, and your hope for a fuller, more connected life. Sometimes you notice that your stability when walking begins to falter. A simple name for this is loss of steadiness when taking the first step. It may seem normal, but it is an important sign that we often ignore. Small falls or slips, even if without major consequences, can be the body's way of warning you that there is a loss of muscle strength, changes in coordination, or postural problems. When we don't pay attention, these signs can worsen, leading to serious falls, fractures, and often loss of independence. An unexpected stumble may seem trivial, but it is a warning that the body is silently aging, and that prevention is essential to maintaining the freedom to move safely. Imagine Mrs. Clara, who feels a new sense of insecurity when climbing stairs. She decides to do balance exercises, leaning against the wall or using a chair to practice walking steadily. Joao, on the other hand, thinks it's just a sign of aging and ignores the signs, continuing to walk carelessly until a more serious slip causes him to fall, frightening him and forcing him to undergo a long recovery. The risks of ignoring these signs are real. Falls can lead to serious injuries, hospitalizations, and even the loss of the comfort of being home alone. The good news is that small actions can make all the difference. Training your balance for just 5 minutes a day, using simple exercises such as walking in a straight line or leaning against a wall, strengthens muscles and improves posture. Using a chair for support when getting up or walking helps ensure safety. Prevention is freedom. It is staying active and confident. And if the body has already shown signs of frailty, what is the heart, that great guardian, still trying to tell us? Perhaps something more invisible, that only feelings and inner attention can reveal. The unseen weight we carry inside is like a silent shadow that lodges in the heart, leaving invisible marks on the soul. It is the accumulated emotional baggage, the unexpressed resentments, the stored hurts, and the abandoned dreams that remain trapped, like deep roots that prevent the free flow of vital energy. These unresolved emotions shape our posture, influence our breathing, and often manifest as fatigue, anxiety, or physical pain that seems to have no explanation. The body records everything the heart cannot release, aging faster, as if the spirit were carrying an invisible burden that weighs on our health and joy of living. Imagine two people, one who keeps their hurts and resentments to themselves, living with a face marked by tension, sleepless nights, and depleted energy, like a candle consuming its own light. And another who decides to face their emotions by writing letters, talking, praying, or simply allowing themselves to feel. This person, with a lighter heart, walks with firmer steps, breathes more freely, and finds a quiet peace that revitalizes their essence. They understand that unresolved suffering creates a prison that limits their freedom to be who they really are. Ignoring this inner pain is like keeping a door locked that prevents the heart from breathing fully. The risk is aging before your time, losing vitality, and isolating yourself emotionally, like a tree that takes root in silence, growing in shadow, without enough light. To alleviate this weight, small actions can make all the difference: writing down what you feel, practicing silent forgiveness, dedicating moments to prayer or inner listening, talking to someone you trust. Freeing yourself from these burdens is not forgetting the past, but choosing not to carry it as an anchor. And when the heart is freed from its weight, the body also learns to live in a lighter, more present, more authentic way. And so, perhaps, we can realize that true strength lies in the ability to let go, so that we can move forward with hope and peace. Today you had the opportunity to look inside yourself, with the eyes of your body and the silence of your heart. Every sign, every detail we observe along this journey is not a definitive diagnosis, but rather an invitation to care for yourself, to pay conscious attention to your physical and mental health. From small changes in routine to moments of inner silence, everything reveals possible paths to a longer, fuller, and higher quality life. Remember, the secret lies in realizing what your body and mind are trying to communicate. Every gesture of care, no matter how small, is an important step toward a more dignified and balanced aging process. You don't have to change everything at once. Start by observing your rhythm, your routine, your emotions, and your relationships. It could be walking more mindfully, eating more nutritiously, having a sincere conversation, or just taking a moment of silence. The important thing is that these actions are accessible and possible starting today. Every small gesture is a seed that plants hope and well-being in your life. You deserve it. We are deeply grateful for your presence here, for taking time for your well-being or for caring for those you love. Your willingness to reflect and act shows your courage, wisdom, and love for life. You are important, and every step you take is a demonstration that there is still much to live, learn, and transform. If this content touched your heart or sparked some reflection, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, you will always receive news that helps you take care of yourself, better understand your body and mind, and live with more awareness and hope. Here, each video is an invitation to strengthen your journey. Remember, it is not time that ages the body, it is silence in the face of signs. Listen to what your life is trying to tell you and respond with love and attention. What you do today, with your emotions, your care, and your actions, is shaping your future. There is still time to transform, to take care of yourself, to be reborn. Hope is in the present, and the best is yet to come.